On Wednesday, November 16th, Venus will enter the fun, jolly, and jubilant Sagittarius. And until December 9th, love will become about going on adventures with people we love, reading our favorite books, and having expansive philosophical discussions. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. Thank you for joining. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. I really appreciate that. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. To work with me, check out the links down below. If you are a Scorpio sun, you can also use the coupon codes to get 20% off your natal and solar return reading, as I'm currently running a Scorpio season special. I have recently started create planetary magic items, candles and oils. You probably know of them if you listen to me regularly. Let me mention them real quick before we dive in. So I have candles and oils currently for Venus and for Mercury. There's two types of candles for Venus, two types for Mercury. Venus candles and oils are really good for romantic and creative matters if you'd like a boost and improvement there. And, you know, especially if your Venus is in Virgo, in Aries, or Scorpio, the signs Venus traditionally struggles in, or if it's located in the 12th, 8th, or 6th houses, more challenging houses. Like, you know, for example, if you are an Aries or a Scorpio rising with Venus in Virgo, you will have Venus ruling your 7th house. So your relationships might be a bit tricky because you might be attracting a partner who's critical and nitpicky, who picks on you, or they're somehow compromised, you know, they're struggling in life. So by lighting candle, you're doing a sense of remediation. You're helping the Venusian energy and you're helping your partner. And similarly, Mercury can help with clarity, writing, and expressing yourself verbally. So if you're struggling with communication, your Mercury is one of those signs that it traditionally struggles at, Pisces and Sagittarius, or it's in one of the dark houses, 6th, 8th, and 12th. Or if you're born with Mercury retrograde, doing planetary remediation, lighting a candle could be very supportive. You know, Venus can also be great for like a more challenging, darker times when you want to bring back some of the happier energy of a Libra season, because these were created during Libra season. Links down below. Okay, let's talk about Venus entering Sagittarius. And thank you for listening to me promote my candles. You know, it's my passion project. Venus in Sagittarius starts on November 16th, lasts until December 9th. Every planet, when it is in the sign other than its own sign, has to contend and behave in accordance to the rules of the planet that rules that sign. So Venus rules Libra and Taurus. She's free to do Venusian things, create love, accord, harmony to her own, you know, ends, her own style. She doesn't need to talk to anyone. When you put Venus in Sagittarius, she has to deal with Jupiter. And Venus, being the planet of harmony, balance, friendship, love, beauty, will always want to do those things. But when it's placed in the Jupiter-ruled sign, she's going to have to use Jupiter tools. And Jupiter is Zeus. Jupiter is the priest, the philosopher. So imagine the house of Jupiter, right? Like lots of books, maybe candles, maybe some crystals, the best wine, the best cloth, like the most expensive things, kind of, yeah, like definitely thinking like books and maps and that kind of stuff. So you put Venus in Jupiter's house, she starts to operate in accordance to those tools that she's given. So if we're talking about love and romance, we start to be attracted to people who are well-educated, broad-minded. We don't care about them being the most good-looking, right? As you might with Venus and Libra or Venus and Taurus. We care about them being foreign or speaking a different language. We want to learn from them. We want to explore the world with them. At the same time, you might be also drawn to some kind of like vagabond people, right? A little bit like shaky, flaky people, because part of the nature of Sagittarius is a sign, it's a mutable sign. So there's changeability, which could be good because it can make you very adaptable when Venus is in Sagittarius. Like you're less stuck, you're less attached to one idea, perhaps you're more open-minded, but it can also make you drawn to people and also just even make you a little bit more unstable, right? And more, yeah, flaky. I guess I have used that word. Jupiter is in Pisces the entire time. So if Venus is ruled by Jupiter, having Jupiter in the sign that it rules, Pisces, is very beneficial and very supportive. So romantic matters should go well. I think we will experience a sense of like lightness romantically. And you know, please let me know in the comments below if you have struggled romantically in the last month or ever since Scorpio season begun, because I think Venus in Scorpio has gotten beat up by the opposition to Uranus, by square to Saturn. Of course, maybe you've gone through some kind of empowerment, and through the challenges you have realized your own power, but it hasn't necessarily been the easier period, I think. So now that Jupiter is in his home sign, Jupiter stations direct on November 23rd, Venus becomes more cheerful, right? That's the nature of Sagittarius. There's cheerfulness, there's optimism, there's merriment and jolliness. Is that a word? Can you say jolliness? But yeah, like Venus is happier in Sag, especially because Jupiter is in Pisces, another sign Jupiter rules throughout the entire period. It's, you know, Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's interested in spreading the knowledge. So as much as you're interested in learning with this placement and meeting people who can teach you things, you also might be interested in teaching other people things. A lot of Sagittarius energy is about purpose. It's about a mission, right? Like I always think of Sag as a conquistador. So your relationships have to have a purpose. Your pursuits have to have a purpose. You're seeking for some kind of larger meaning. And then you may on like the darker side of it, you may sort of feel like your meaning, your purpose, or your knowledge is the most important thing. And then you tend to overpower other people and push your ideas on other people. So be careful of that. On the other hand, you may feel a little bit depressed if there isn't a meaning immediately offered to you. So try to avoid swinging one way or the other. And be careful. Jupiter is expansive, expressive, really grand. So sometimes when Venus is in Sagittarius and the energy is a bit immature, there might be a sense of overindulging, over drinking, partying too much, spending too much. And that's where I think that whole tendency to think that you are right and everyone else is wrong can also come from. So be careful. Use this time to learn something new, to learn something about spirituality, philosophy, anything kind of religious and uplifting and hopeful. And I think another thing that I really like about Sagittarius energy, Venus in Sagittarius or any other Sagittarius placement, is that there is oftentimes a sense of optimism that even when things are dark, and like you might experience this romantically, if things are dark and challenging, they will improve, they will get better. There's something new and something exciting around the corner. The world is your candy shop and every person is a new flavor of candy. But like I said, don't overdo it. So let's take a closer look at all 12 signs and see where you can expect those blessings of Venus. I am looking at the rising signs because that's what is usually done for, you know, Hellenistic astrology or any kind of astrology, as rising sign is the starting point of the chart, which determines the layout of the houses. And so when you're talking about transiting planets, you're looking at the layout. So Thank you for, being patient while I drink my water. For Aries rising, Venus enters the ninth house. Ninth house is the place of travel. It's the place of learning, the place of foreign people. So you may find yourself starting November 16th until December 9th. You may find yourself being more interested in foreign people. You might be planning your next trip or traveling, and meeting someone foreign while traveling is also quite likely. Learning about romantic matters like, I don't know, sex education, tantra, anything that is like a connection between romantic and educational, I can see here. And just in general, like connecting joy with education. You enjoy watching documentaries, you enjoy going to museums, you find a lot of pleasure in expanding your mind and interacting with people who are teachers or teacher-like. For Taurus rising, Venus is going into the 8th house, so this might bring benefits to your partnerships and your partner. Like 8th house is other people's resources, so either you are connecting with other people and forming some kind of alliance and partnership, or if you are in a relationship, this might be the time when your partner gets like a bonus or gets an inheritance, gets some kind of support and goes through like a better period. You enjoy doing research, you enjoy working with others, you may get more opportunities through working with others versus, just going at it alone. For Gemini rising, this is quite exciting. Venus is going to enter your 7th house, and 7th house is the place of relationships. It's the place of partnerships, business partnerships, so you can likely experience ease when it comes to your one-on-one relationships. If you're a business owner, your relationships with clients can go better. It might be more likely right now to draw in people who will support you and will support your projects. I think it's like nice for finding a lot of support and connection in your relationships, and dating some foreign people, dating people who are different than you, people who can teach you things. For Cancer rising, Venus goes into the 6th house, and your jolliness and merriment comes from attacking your duties in a fun way. With Venus in the 6th, you might try to maximize your routine. Like, let's say you have a long to-do list, you may try to start listening to a new podcast. So you're connecting Sagittarian desire to learn with the 6th house energy of hard work. Maybe you learn something about health techniques that come from Southeast Asia or something that can help your body. Great time to work out, but do so maybe through dance. Great time to learn something about nutrition and health. Your relationships with your colleagues are likely to improve. Watch out for overindulgence, because Venus over here can be a little bit more lenient when it comes to sticking to a diet. It might just be like, oh, it's all good, don't worry, have this 10th cupcake. So yeah, like beware. For Leo rising, this is exciting. Venus rejoices in the 5th house. She's going into your 5th house, the place of romance, creativity, joy, children. Venus here can bring a new relationship for sure. It can ignite the passion in the existing relationship. Maybe you do something fun together. Maybe you play games together or go on new dates. Maybe you decide to start dating if you've been single for a while. Could be a lovely period to do so. Creatively, feeling inspired is also likely, and having better relationships with your children or children in general. I think kids can be a source of creative or personal inspiration. They may maybe it's even a great time to reconnect with your inner child and think on what you used to do, what you used to love doing as a kid, and maybe bring more of that into your life right now. For Virgo rising, Venus enters your 4th house, and you seek to expand your home. You may be buying new curtains, upgrading your immediate environment to be both educational but also beautiful, likely. You may be spending more time, you may be learning things through having get-togethers at home, or even taking a class from your bedroom, right? Connecting with family, learning things through family are also possible right now and can bring you a lot of joy. For Libra rising, Venus enters your third house, which is the place of communication, skills, hobbies, ideas. I think whenever you get third house activation through Venus or through Mars, this is like a great time for your ideas, right? There might be more creative ideas, like, because third house is about using your hands, it's about what you have to say, it's about making things. So if you are a creative individual, this could be the time when you're just thinking extra creatively, you're making beautiful things, right? You're learning things. And once again, like, you know, Sagittarius, Venus, you would like to learn something. You may be sharing your ideas in a very eloquent and beautiful way and having inspired, happy, joyful relationships with people in your immediate environment. Oh, maybe as a Libra rising, my crazy neighbor will be quieter, hopefully, fingers crossed. One day he'll be gone and I'll tell you guys. But yeah, like kind of better relationships with siblings, neighbors, and having better, clearer communication. Although, be careful of like coming on too strong and feeling like you know it all and the rest of people don't. There might be a little bit of that. For Scorpio rising, Venus goes into the second house. And the second house is the place of values and finances. So of course this can benefit you financially. This can also make you feel more valued, be that from other people, or maybe you start to value yourself more. Because if we're going, you know, if we're looking at the Venusian journey, she just recovers from being in Scorpio, and in Scorpio she had to deal with the opposition to Uranus, square to Saturn. So you may have experienced some turbulence, and as a way of rewarding yourself, your confidence goes up. You may be spending more money, quite likely. You may be spending on education and travel, because that's what Venus and Sagittarius in the second house would like to do. Of course, you know, there might be other things that you want to spend on, like a spa treatment that is somehow unique. Working with other people, I think, could be very beneficial right now. Starting a partnership, working on something that deals with creativity, beauty industry, women, could be also quite successful at this time. For Sagittarius rising, Venus goes in your first house, starting November 16th until December 9th. She is you. You are her. You embody that beauty, that charm, that light of Venus and Sagittarius, which is exciting, right? Like, you've had a lot of action in your 12th house, and that's not the easiest time. I know a lot about the 12th house. So having Venus get out of the 12th house and come into your first house, giving you the charm, giving you the magnetic power, the attractive power, you can draw things more easily your way. Personally, I often notice when Venus transits my first house, I just get a lot more free things. Like, you know, you go to a coffee shop and they're like, oh, you want a croissant? Here's a free croissant. So there might be things coming your way. Could be a good exercise to try and focus on drawing things that you actually want, right? Like kind of being more conscious about things you're drawing in, and maybe putting them on the piece of paper, saying them out loud, meditating, repeating like a mantra in your head, versus seeing what comes your way. Because perhaps you've learned a lot through your journey, through your scorpionic journey in the last month. But it should be a very good time to work with others, to charm, to date, anything like that. For Capricorn rising, Venus goes in the 12th house, and your romantic life shifts behind the scenes. There might still be a lot of action, but it's likely to be more private, more quiet. Maybe you're being more introspective. You're looking back at your past relationships. You're questioning your self-defeating patterns. You're questioning your self-worth. Maybe you're going away with your partner, right? Like you can be hidden because you're in a cave hibernating and thinking deeply, or you can be hidden because you're just not in the place that you're normally at, which is what 12th house is sometimes. So going away with a partner, having some kind of passionate escape is a possibility. Watch out for dating people who are not good for you. You know, as always, 12th house, the choices and the choosing and like people you go for may be not quite good for you. Like you might be attracted to someone who has that like spark and exciting energy, but they are married, and you know, and that brings a lot of turmoil to you, to them, to their family, to their children. So just be careful when it comes to that. For Aqua rising, your social life kind of gets excited and sped up and more fun with Venus entering your 11th house. More get-togethers. You're meeting people of all the different cultures. You're connecting with people who can benefit your life somehow and can maybe, I think, like working on the sense of connectedness and building community and maybe sharing your ideas on social media, presenting yourself on social media. Whenever Venus is in the 11th house, be that natally or by transit, you're naturally are at your most charming, most beautiful when you are in a social setting. So here you're getting, from November 16th until December 9th, you're getting that energy by transit. So great time to socialize, to reach out to people, to work in a group, you know, to teach a class or do anything that puts you together with people you have things in common with. And for Pisces rising, Venus goes in your 10th house. So this is great professionally, right? There might be an opportunity to do something for work that really makes you happy versus just having a job that pays the bills. Here you're actually pursuing things that excite you. So there might be new opportunities. It's Sag, right? Your 10th house is Sag. So maybe opportunities to teach, maybe opportunities to travel, expand your world, expand your career, like take on new projects, take on new clients, anything like that. Having good relationships with bosses, being better at manifesting your ideal job, and doing projects that are creative as well and more enjoyable, I can see very much for the lovely Pisces rising. And this is all I have. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a lovely Venus in Sagittarius. Like I said, it's really exciting that it coincides with a strong Jupiter versus if Jupiter was, let's say, in Capricorn, it wouldn't be as fun. So have a great time and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.